All right, today we're going to be talking all about the brand new collection that just dropped from r.e.m Beauty. This is the Dangerous Woman collection, and this whole limited edition collection is named in honor of Ariana's album Dangerous Woman that came out 10 years ago. And I'm coming into this review as a makeup lover. I'm someone who's tried r.e.m Beauty for around a year now, and I've been very impressed by a bunch of the formulas, not everything, but certainly the pressed shadow formula, as well as the gloss formula. And this collection includes a palette, 2 glosses, and a lip mask. I don't have the lip mask at the time that I'm making this video, but it is adorable, definitely a collector's item if you're into that kind of thing. It has this adorable bunny mask charm on it. I feel like that's going to be the most popular item in this collection. At the time that I'm making this video, you can purchase this collection on the r.e.m Beauty website and at Ulta Beauty. I am pretty sure this is going to be available internationally as well. I'm going to do detailed swatches in 2 looks, so let's go ahead and get into it. Starting off with the eyeshadow palette, this is the exact same format as the Sweet Dreams eyeshadow quads that came out earlier in the year. It retails for $30, same price as those quads as well. These quads are made in Italy, and this palette has 2 shimmers and 2 mattes. And I absolutely adore how sturdy this packaging is, and I do love that they went with sleek black detailing for this release. These mattes I find to be very pigmented and easy to blend. For the richer mattes, they tend to look a little bit deeper on the skin than they do in the pan, for what that's worth. The shimmers in these quads are truly standout. In this palette, you can see that you have a deep charcoal shimmer and more of a silvery white shimmer. The charcoal shimmer is definitely a bit more foiled than the silvery white one. And I do like that because you can apply that lighter shimmer as kind of a wash, especially if you do want to use it a bit more as a highlighting shade. Here, I just wanted to show you what that shimmer looks like dispersed all over the back of my hand. And then a moment for this charcoal shimmer. It's so high impact, so sparkly, so metallic. This was definitely the shade that I was most excited for. All right, and here is the first glossy bomb. This is the shade Forever Boy. It's kind of a pale pinky nude tone shade, and it has a subtle sparkle throughout. There's no shade that's like it in the permanent lineup, so I do like that, although I think this is a really pretty shade, and I do wish that they would make this shade permanent. I can already imagine how pretty this one would look paired with a richer brown liner. All right, and the second gloss in this collection is called New Better. And actually, I didn't realize this, but this is a pH adapting gloss. In the tube, it looks like a deep plum tone brown. When you apply it to the lips, it looks more like a fuchsia. I'm personally not the biggest fan of the pH adapting glosses, although I will say that this shade is pretty. And I've been going back and forth on it, but I think I would slightly prefer the shade that I'm seeing in the bottle. But I do have to say that this pH gloss is probably amongst my favorites that I've tried. It has a little bit more depth and vampiness to it than I'm used to from a pH adapting lip product. All right, let's go ahead and dive into doing a couple of looks with this palette. I am super excited because the shimmers are exactly as sparkly as I was hoping they would be. And in general, these quads are definitely one of my favorite releases from r.e.m Beauty. So was very happy to see that they were included in this collection. So I'm going to start off with this light matte here, this kind of light nude toned matte here. I really want to recreate a look that was shared on the r.e.m Beauty Instagram page. I'm going to go ahead and pop that up on the screen. I'm just going to place a little bit on this inner portion of the lid. The mattes are so pigmented and easy to blend. And then put a little bit on the brow bone. Typically, this is exactly how I would use a lighter matte like this. All right, now I'm going to take this cool toned brown matte and use it to smoke out that outer corner. I did get the sense that I was going to get some depth with this shade, although I think I was hoping that it was going to be a little bit deeper. I feel like that's what I'm always hoping with some of these kind of deepest mattes in the palette, is just that they have a little bit more depth. but I am happy to say that it is showing up deeper on the skin than it is in the pan. And now I'm just going to take a flatter brush and connect to the lower lash line. All right, so far so good. Now we're going to dip into these shimmers. Super excited. I'm going to start off with this charcoal shade. And here is what it looks like on my fingertip. And swatch on the back of my hand. Super high impact, metallic charcoal shade. So I'm going to just use my fingertip and apply that kind of on the center of the lid into that brown matte. I gotta say, I have really been enjoying this press shadow formula from r.e.m. Beauty. And this shimmer is probably what I was most excited for in the palette. I feel like it just makes the palette. All right, I like how this look is coming together. We're gonna dip into the fourth and final shade in this palette, which is this kind of crystal shimmer. Here is what it looks like swatched in the back of my hand. And then I'm just gonna take a little bit on my fingertip and add it on the inner portion of the lid. I love the contrast between those two shades and the brightness that that brings. And now I'm just going to take a little bit on the brow bone. The other thing that they did in this look that I've been doing quite a bit is taking the lighter shade, so that's that first kind of pale nude shade matte that I started off with, and just blending it down, kind of like as if I was blending it into my blush. I really do like the contrast that that creates on the cheekbone as well. All right, I did add a little bit of liner and mascara. Now I want to go in with my blush. And this blush was actually a part of the Wicked collection. I do think that it's still available. It's the shade Braverism. This was in the Alphabet set. And unfortunately, you can't get this by itself, but it is part of that kit. And it's a beautiful berry-toned cream blush. Because I do think that this blush is going to go well with the deeper gloss in the Dangerous Woman collection. Now I'm lining my lips with the deep brown liner that's in that same set. All right, then I'm going to finish off this look with the shade New Better. This is the deeper of the two shades in the Dangerous Woman collection. Just kind of looks like it would be brown in the tube, but it's a rich plum. And the Glossy Bombs, I would say, have a light to medium opacity, but it does have some sheerness to it, so you can build it up if you want it to be a little bit more pigmented. And here is the first completed look. And I just have to show these shimmers with flash because they are so sparkly. All right, and I am going to do a second look. I'm going to start off with this deeper brown tone matte here. And I think I'm just going to try to do a little bit of a halo eye, although I am curious if I'm going to need something to deepen it up a little bit. I feel like I might. I'm just going to carve out that shape. I gotta say, I was really happy with how that first look came out. Not at all surprised by the quality of the shadows. I feel like it's very consistent with the Sweet Dreams quads that I tried very early in 2026. Just going to take this flatter brush here and place the same brown matte in the corresponding areas along the lower lash line. Then I'm just going to wing out that brown matte a little bit more. All right, now I'm just going to go ahead and take this pinky nude shade and add it to the center of the lid. I wasn't quite sure how I was going to feel about this shade, but I gotta say, I really like it. And I like the contrast between this shade and the brown matte. I feel like you could do a pretty look with just the matte shades. And then just add a little bit to the lower lash line, kind of in the center. And then again, just adding a little bit to the brow bone. All right, and so far I am pretty happy with that, but I want to take this eyeliner from Victoria Beckham because I think this shade will be perfect for the look. This is Coco Pavé. Sorry if I say that wrong, but this is good for just smudging out the outer corner and getting a little tiny bit more depth there. And then adding a little bit to the lower lash line as well. I think the tone of this shade is perfect. I'm just going to use this to create the softest little wing. And I'm going to add just a little bit to the inner portion of the lid. All right, now I'm going to dip into that diamond shimmer and just add a little bit to the center of the lid just to make it pop. I do like that this shade you can wear it pretty metallic or just kind of like more as a scattered sparkle. And then I'm just going to add the smallest amount to the lower lash line in the middle. All right, the only thing is that there is a little bit of a stain on my lips from the previous gloss, so you won't get a completely accurate idea of what this gloss is going to look like. It's a light nude with sparkles. It's going to end up kind of like a lip combo, but this is a formula that I've really enjoyed for the past couple of years. All right, and here is the second completed look. All right, now that I've had a chance to go through everything, let's close up with some wrap-up thoughts. As you can probably tell, I had a lot of fun with this collection. It is smaller. I am a sucker for a capsule collection, and it's no secret that I really enjoy the r.e.m Beauty Press Shadow formula. I've been quite enjoying it since the Fembot Single Shadow came out around this time last year, and I feel like these quads have been of very nice quality. I'm happy that the mattes are also very easy to work with as well. So honestly, I think that the shimmers in this palette are stunning. The mattes are too. The only thing is that I do wish that this matte was a little bit deeper. But honestly, even with that limitation, I feel like it was still able to give me some depth. I just would have loved maybe if it was a tiny bit richer, then it would be honestly a perfect palette for me. It wasn't a deal breaker for me. I'm just being nitpicky. I would love a deeper toned matte, and I feel like a lot of other people would probably enjoy that too. I love the packaging on this. It is a little bit different than the previous quads in that it's this kind of sleek black matte as opposed to a gunmetal. But other than that, it's the same and it feels very sturdy. And yeah, I just really enjoy these quads. I can't say enough good things about them. Now, I am happy that they chose to go with glossy bombs for this collection rather than lip plumpers, because I do feel like that formula is certainly more polarizing. Their plumpers are not for the faint of heart. They have a good sting to them. They last, I want to say, 10 to 15 minutes or so. I don't mind them that much, but I do prefer just a classic gloss. And I think that these shades go really well with palette. So in that way, I think these are a nice choice. I don't know. Do I prefer a plum to a rich brown? I'm not sure, but I think that this shade does go really well with the eye looks that I created. The only thing that I didn't have for this video is the lip mask. And honestly, it's such a cute lip mask, but you didn't need to see me try it on because it wasn't going to look pigmented in any kind of way. It has incredibly cute packaging. So I think that if you are nostalgic and are really into the packaging, you're really going to enjoy that. I can't speak to the formula, but I'm sure that it's a solid product and the packaging is super cute. Now that I've had a chance to go through everything, I would love to hear what you think of this collection. I am super excited to add especially this quad to my everyday makeup routine and to my travel makeup bag. I love to throw these in my makeup bag and go, and the formula just never fails me. If you made it to the end of my video, please leave me a black heart emoji. As always, I really hope you found this video helpful. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.